Recently, I did a video on how stress can really impact your fertility through your adrenal health. And you know that I'm all about solutions, so here's a video to give you some steps to support your adrenals and boost your fertility. Hello lovelies, and welcome to another one of my videos in which I'll be giving you 5 steps for you to support your adrenal health and boost your fertility that way. Because as I explained in a previous video, long-term stress can really negatively affect your fertility. And if you haven't seen that video yet, then make sure to head on over to that after this video, or pause this video and then have a look. I will link it up here in the cards as well as in the description below. And since I'm going through a pretty stressful period with the mourning of the loss of our family member, as well as a move to a different city, and carrying my baby at 23 weeks pregnancy, as well as continuing to work, I thought there wouldn't be a better time for me to be doing this video than now. Step number 1 is a thank you Captain Obvious kind of comment, because you need to start resting. And if you're already phase 3 of adrenal fatigue, then you will think, well, that's all I can do. I can't get off my couch. I can't get out of my bed. Good. What you need to be doing is sleep, 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 and every now and then have a little bit of gentle exercise, such as cycling, walking, swimming, but nothing too detrimental that exhausts you even further, but just alternate it with your naps and your night sleep. However, if you're stage 1 or stage 2 of adrenal fatigue, stage 1 being the alarm phase and stage 2 being the adaptation phase, then chances are that you're finding it hard to rest. And then it's really important for you to know that the only way for you to get out of this situation is if you force rest. Because what you need to be doing is start honoring your circadian rhythm again. Your circadian rhythm is your bio clock or your sleep-wake cycle. In the morning, cortisol will go up. That's the hormone that will get you going. It's your natural cup of coffee to get you started with the day. And that hormone will go up and then start to drop again end of the day. And as that drops, melatonin, another hormone, will start to go up, and that is the hormone that will help us fall asleep. However, if your cortisol levels are high, that inhibits the production of melatonin. So if you have high cortisol levels at the end of your day, you won't have enough melatonin for you to actually fall asleep. And this is why when you're stage 1 or 2 of the adrenal fatigue situation, you will feel wired and tired. During the day, you feel restless but exhausted, and at night you feel exhausted but you can't sleep. And the only way for you to stop this cycle is if you force yourself to sleep. There are a couple of things that you can do in the evening to support the production of melatonin, or at least not counteract it. And first of all, you may already know this, it's no screen time about 1 or 2 hours before you go to sleep. And yes, we've got blue light filters that you can use, but I really think the best thing you can do is not have any screen time and not trigger your brain. The other thing that you don't want is stimulants in the evening, such as alcohol or caffeine. Instead, it's better for you to drink some teas like chamomile, lavender, rose, anything that is calming. Another thing you can do to support the production of melatonin is dim the lights. So instead of having the bright lights out, you can dim those and maybe have some candlelight. And also when you go to bed, wear a sleep mask, because that way you can block out any light that might be coming from the street lights outside or from your your housemates, like under the door or something. That will also help produce the melatonin a little bit better. Initially, you may not see a difference, but if you do this diligently, after a couple of days, you will notice that you will start to get tired naturally again in the evening. It may take a while for you to actually feel refreshed in the morning, but this is a good first step, right? Step number 2 is to actually get your body to rest. Because yes, these are good things that I just mentioned, but if you're stage 1 and 2, if you are wired and tired, you may still find it really difficult to rest, whether it's during the day, on your weekends, your days off, or in the evening. So there are a couple of tools that you can use to help you rest. And you know what? If you apply these tools, they are a part of a self-care type of routine. And self-care alone helps you to get out of your head and into your body. And when you're more aware of your body, that will help you relax and fall asleep more easily and relax generally. If you have, for example, a very tense and painful tummy, if you put your hand on it, you will become more aware of that area and it starts to relax. This is why massages are also so helpful. It's not just because somebody is kneading out the knots, it's just the act of touch makes you more aware of your body and in your body and out of your head and helps you relax. So the tools I'm about to mention help you to get out of that head and into your body and then relax. So you may have already heard of some really great calming essential oils. They are not uncommon anyway, but I'm just mentioning everything right here that I think is useful. And the calming oils that I love are lavender, bergamot, chamomile, for example, and there's also vetiver. I'm never sure how you pronounce that, but it's also a citrusy type of essential oil like bergamot is. So you can either put them in a carrier oil and use them as massage oil or rub your feet or something like that, or you can put them in a bath, or you can diffuse them or add them to your non-scented body lotion. If you're going to be taking baths, then add some Epsom salts as well. This is magnesium, and magnesium helps you calm your system, which I will mention later again and explain a bit more. But Epsom salts are fantastic, and if you don't have a bath that you can lie in, then take foot baths. They are just as efficient and effective. When it comes to the touch approach to help you relax, you can rub your feet, as I just mentioned. You can put on a body lotion very consciously. That will be helpful. But you can also get a professional massage maybe at the end of your day, or have somebody else, like a loved one, massage your back or your feet or your neck at night to help you relax as well. And if you would like some support in this generally, I really recommend to see an osteopath every now and then, because they can really work on those deep levels of relaxation that you can't even access. I have this really weird knot on the right side, and I still don't know to this day how I can actually relax it without going to an osteopath. Make sure that your environment is nice and soothing and calming. I already mentioned dimming the lights and that you can light some candles, but think of listening to some gentle and soothing music that you love. This is what we do for our babies as well, right? Lullabies. Why shouldn't you have lullaby? And then I also like to point you towards a really old video of mine in which I share an exercise to bring up joy, so that you can bring up the hormones DHEA, but you can also lower cortisol. And when you do that exercise, it brings the cortisol levels down straight away. So I will link that again in the cards and in the description below, so make sure you check that out too. I did say that you shouldn't be taking any stimulants at night, but generally there are a couple of things that you don't want to be putting in your body to pester your adrenals, because stimulants go a lot further than just alcohol and caffeine. So yes, those are two that you want to avoid in the very least in the evening, but maybe you generally shouldn't be taking those if you're very stressed out and you're going down that adrenal fatigue path. Other things that you want to avoid are sugar, because sugar is an inflammatory agent, and if you have an inflammation in your body, that's stress from within, because stress, as I mentioned in the other video, is not just emotional stress, it can also be physical stress. So you want to avoid sugar. Orange juice is another stimulant. Weirdly enough, chocolate is a stimulant. And don't forget about cigarettes and drugs in general. And just wanted to mention as well that if you drink caffeine in the afternoon as a pick-me-up, but it's stopped working, that should be a huge red flag to you, because that means that you're trying to stimulate your adrenals to produce cortisol to get you going, and your adrenals aren't reacting. So what does that say? They are in shutdown or in depletion, right? So then it's really time to cut out all of this stuff and make some huge lifestyle changes before you are completely wiped out. Now that we talked about what you shouldn't be putting into your body, let's talk what you should be putting into your body. I already mentioned magnesium in the form of Epsom salts, but in stressful periods I like to take and I like to prescribe to my patients and family to take 100 milligrams 4 to 5 times a day with food. Because the whole thing with magnesium is that during stress periods, you need more of it. Because if you're depleted in magnesium, then you will feel restless and nervous, and you may also get muscle ache. Topping up is a really good idea. Take the 4 to 5 times 100 milligrams a day until you get a more healthy rhythm and you're able to fall asleep at night again. Then reduce to maybe 3 times a day, or use a maintenance dose of 100 milligrams a day. If you have very painful periods, then this is really useful as well. I've mentioned that in one of my videos on painful periods, but if you have painful periods, just think about whether you might be depleted in magnesium and whether that has to do with stress and adrenal fatigue, because chances are that those things are going together for you. Now, we also would like to top up on vitamin C as a booster, because in our bodies, the highest concentration of vitamin C is actually in our adrenals. So that says something about what our adrenals want, right? What I know from experience with adrenal fatigue and with my patients that have adrenal fatigue or hypothyroidism is that they can take 2 grams of vitamin C and then suddenly feel like they had a cup of coffee without the jitteriness and the nervousness, but actually have the clarity of mind and have some energy to get going again. So this is what I can really recommend. You can take 4 to 5 grams a day spread out, but just watch what happens to your bowels, as it's possible that you get loose stool or diarrhea if you take too much of it. If that happens, then just tone it down a little bit. Another thing that I really love is a herbal tonic combination of glycyrrhiza, which is licorice, and ginkgo and ginseng. In the Netherlands and some Scandinavian countries, licorice is a very common sweet, and I really noticed that a lot of people in the offices will start to binge on licorice in the afternoon. Well, that tells you everything about their stress levels and their adrenals, doesn't it? However, with any type of herbs, you need to make sure that it's appropriate for you to take while you're trying to conceive, because most herbs are advised against while you're pregnant, and therefore also when you're trying to conceive. So make sure that when you take that, you do that together with a herbalist or a naturopath, and not just based on my advice. You can also take supplements with these herbs if you have difficulty finding the tinctures, although I find the tinctures way more effective. And the supplements, you should definitely give a 2 to 3 month chance to see an effect. However, sometimes it's useful to take the supplements rather than the tincture, because I feel like the tincture will give you an instant boost, but the supplements will give you an ongoing feeding of the adrenals in a longer period of recovery time. And now let's talk a little bit about foods as well. We are looking for foods that we can snack on that contain high levels of tryptophan or melatonin itself. Now, we talked about melatonin, how that helps you sleep, but tryptophan is a precursor of melatonin. Our bodies uses tryptophan to produce melatonin as well as serotonin. Serotonin is the hormone that we need for clarity and alertness and for our mood, while the melatonin is the one to help us sleep. Tryptophan-rich foods are usually the ones that are also protein-rich. Look at poultry, so chicken or turkey. Salmon is great, eggs is great, nuts, spinach, and what I really like is quark. And this is something apparently that is very common in Scandinavian and Northern European countries, but not so much in the rest of the world. But I know of patients that they have found it in the US, for example, so have a look. If you can't find it, then think of maybe something like kefir or yogurt. There are lots of melatonin-rich foods as well, but the most common ones are bananas, so that's a good nighttime snack. Cherries, so I love to have cherry juice sometimes at night, although it is quite sweet, so maybe it's not always the best choice, but every now and then you can have that, especially if it's pure. And also ginger, which is very warming and anti-inflammatory. And we've got tomatoes. So you can have a tomato salad at dinner and you will know that you are topping up on your melatonin. And then of course, we've got our homeopathic treatment. Now, if you are really struggling with adrenal fatigue or hypothyroidism, and this is what is messing with your stress levels and your sleep, then you really need to seek out homeopathic treatment with somebody that is trained so they can take your case and treat your chronic issues. Because just a remedy here or there is not going to solve the deeper rooted issues. However, there are a couple of remedies that I wanted to suggest to you that are super helpful if you're just going through a stressful phase, or just as support or to take while you are waiting before your first appointment. And the first is magnesium phosphoricum. And the way that you would take this is in a 6x dosage. In some countries that could be D6, by the way. And the way that you do it is you've got a couple of tablets, like 4 or 5, and you put it in a mug or a glass, and you pour hot water over it. So you drink it like a tea. You drink it as hot as you can possibly take it at night, and you can take this whenever you feel you need it. Another remedy is Nux vomica. I've mentioned this in several other videos because it's a really common remedy. It's a liver remedy as well. So if you particularly wake up at 3 a.m., then this could be a good remedy. And if during the day you feel really wired, you are living on coffee, you are being a workaholic, you might be a little bit annoyed easily, then Nux vomica could be a good remedy to help you fall asleep at night. And you can take it in a potency 12C and then put it in a glass of water and sip from it for about half an hour. It doesn't really matter how much water it is, it's about the frequency with homeopathy. So I would have you sip it for about 20 to 30 minutes frequently to help you sleep at night. And then the third remedy that I love to suggest is called cocculus, and you can take that in a 30C. You take that in the morning. So this is not so much to help you fall asleep, but it is a great remedy for those that have loss of sleep. So I prescribe it to nursing mothers. I prescribe it to people that are maybe taking care of somebody else during the night, but also for people that have jet lag. And again, you can put it in a bottle of water and then sip it throughout the day if you've had a really bad night, just to get you through the day. So there you are. There are 5 steps to help you start nurturing your adrenals and boost your fertility. If you're interested in more videos on hormone imbalance and how you can treat it naturally, make sure to click on the playlist on your screen right now. And in the meantime, see you in the next video. Bye!